does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis.
Oh my God!
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back.
Field manager. Here they are, one strike away, one out away. 3-2. Here it is. The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
It's distributing the ball all over the place. They're going to open with a trick play. They've got Nixon behind the D. He's going to go. The game changes in the blink of an eye.
This is deep to center field. Bellinger's back. It's a grand slam. Howie Kendrick.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game! Series! Toronto has won!
29 consecutive conference win. Blocked! Snuffed! Rubbed out! Erased! And Georgia Tech with an opportunity! Austin still on his feet. One man. You can't believe what just happened. What a time to be alive.
What is up, guys? This is episode 10 of Charge It to the Game. I got my guy Nick. You don't have to look at big old Ben's ugly ass. You got Nick today filling in.
Yeah, you
Huge W to start off your week.
Get to look at my ugly ass instead.
First W of the week. That's what I'm talking about. We got our guy Zach. We've got NFL back. I'm super excited. We got the Commanders starting out 1-0. Hand us the division.
Yeah, I mean,
hand it to us.
It should. Who's going to beat them? Nobody. 17-0.
Well, I'm not rooting for anyone to get injured. I never would do that. But we do have a division now that's without Dak for a couple weeks here. I mean, the Cowboys, even with Dak, did not look too great. I think that's very safe to say. They looked pretty bad. Don't fade Tom Brady. I think that's probably the moral of the story there. I need to learn my lesson still. It's been years. Did you have any action in that game?
I did actually, and it was a pretty bad read. So the bet that I had in that Cowboys Bucks game yesterday was Tony Pollard receiving yards on the over.
Okay.
Bucks historically have allowed tons and tons and tons of passing yards or receiving yards, I guess, to running backs, just because their run D is so good. So teams have to use the backs in the passing game instead. But what turned out happening is we've been talking all off season about the Cowboys offensive line. And the guys who have left the team and the guys who are injured on that team just had a free lane to the quarterback every single time. So nobody on that team came anywhere close to their receiving numbers. So a bit of a bad read on that, but definitely something to look at moving forward. If we have other teams with bad offensive lines going up against this Bucks team, might be in for some running back receiving unders if they need if they're needed in pass pro.
We should be looking to take potentially. Anytime you could take Michael Parsons to get a sack in any single game.
Yeah,
ever.
He's flying.
Dude's an animal.
Yeah, he's got like I put in a cheat code before the game. He's got turbo boost.
He's an absolute animal. I mean, it helps that he was going up against a pretty poor O-line there too, but the greats like Tom Brady make that not matter, right? Tom Brady found a way to win that game. It wasn't pretty, but in very Tom Brady fashion, they pull out a 19-3 win, just as we all suspected, with two, pretty good offenses. But the battle of the poor O-lines there. Mike McCarthy was outcoached again. Shocker. Cowboys looked terrible even before Dak got hurt. So I don't want to hear any Cowboys fans talking about some bullshit about how they don't have a quarterback. That's why they lost. They lost that game in the second quarter, in my opinion. And that was my only loss of the day yesterday, betting NFL. It is what it is.
You were on the Cowboys?
Went 6-0 before that. I was on the Cowboys plus 2.5. Bad beat. Bad read. Sorry, definitely not a bad beat.
No, not a bad beat. That was bad over bet. From the opening kickoff.
Bad bet. Well, you can't win them all, and also every underdog can't win. Although underdogs did do pretty decent. They went 7-8 ATS, which, give or take with that Vikings bet. I mean, the Vikings were an underdog 95% of that line being outs, closes the favorites. They won, whatever. And 4 dogs won outright. So the dogs were definitely here barking. I had a field day with them. No pun intended there with the Bears. Justin Fields pulling it out for the boys. Outright. Trey Lance did not look great. I mean, it's early. It's going to take him a little while. I just kind of want to briefly touch on all these games real quick.
Yeah, let's run through.
I mean, the Bills obviously rolled. Rams have some stuff to work on. Stafford could be hurt. Bears, 49ers. I mean, that game was disgusting. Nobody can even move, but the Bears pulled it out. They won it. And, I mean, were you impressed by what you saw from them at all? Or was it more like, gosh, should the 49ers have stuck with Jimmy G?
So it's a couple things. I think I speak for both Ben and myself when we say that we've been pretty low on this 49ers team all offseason. I'm not a big Trey Lance fan. I don't think he's got the arm talent to turn into a top tier quarterback in this league. I think the same exact thing about Justin Fields, by the way, the guy on the Bears. At the same time, though, it's hard to really take anything away from yesterday's game. We saw both quarterbacks have some success running the ball on the ground. It's kind of hard to throw the ball deep in that weather between the field conditions, when that makes it hard for the receivers to run routes, and just the way that the weather impacts the quarterbacks themselves throwing the ball. So I don't want to take too many extreme takeaways from that game just because of the weather. Although I will say again, I am not high on the 49ers at all this year. What about you? What were your thoughts on these guys out there?
Oof. I mean, the game was just kind of washed, literally.
Yeah, literally.
In my opinion. I mean, I just don't know what we can really take away. Great excuse for Trey Lance and Shanahan for their first loss here of the season to be a rain game that was weird. I don't think they'll be too mad about it, but definitely concerning for a guy like me who has Lance on a fantasy team or two. Not exactly what we wanted to see there. It is what it is. I mean, plenty of time. Season's young. I'm not going to be a typical Commanders fan up here and act like we won the division after one game, but we did look good. We'll get to us, though. We'll get to us. Saints walked it off there against the Falcons. I don't know if you were on it, but me and a couple other smarter people were kind of thinking Falcons aren't going to be as bad as people think this season. Was that game kind of how you expected there? The Saints barely pulled it out by the skin of their teeth?
Yeah, I didn't have any action in that game. I was just really interested in seeing how Mariota looked in that Falcons offense. And that's a guy who obviously had a ton of potential, number 2 overall pick in the draft coming out of Oregon, Heisman Trophy winner, but never really found sustained success in the NFL. Always showed flashes, always had great games here and there, but never consistent. But he looked good yesterday. That Saints team is not a cupcake. I was actually honestly really impressed with both teams in that game yesterday. We saw Taysom Hill have a classic Taysom Hill performance as well, which I think is going to be big for the Saints this year. Is keeping him healthy, keeping him involved, just as an extra mix up and an extra gadget player. But yeah, I was impressed with the Falcons. Yeah, they do.
They're going to need him for sure, because Jameis is not going to be that consistent piece they always have. Although they found a way to win last night, so no complaints. Week 1, you survive in advance. The Browns, who are one of my favorite teams, the narrative of Baker Mayfield coming back to, seek revenge on his old squad. I think that was one of the dumbest narratives I was hearing all week.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest fades. So I absolutely cashed in on the Browns. I had them teased at plus 7.5 in a couple ways. I had them ML. I had them plus 1.5 at times. I was all in on the Browns, and they came through. Kareem Hunt, he came through, sitting on my fantasy bench with plenty of points. That backfield, even without Watson, that backfield is going to win them games. I'm behind the Browns this season. They might have a piece of shit running the team and coming back in week 12 or 13, whatever, but that team is not as bad as people think they are with Jacoby Brissett. That defense is nice, and they pulled out a tight win there. They did what they needed to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the line was a little bit disrespectful. I mean, it ended up being a pretty sharp line in the end as far as where the game ended up. But the Browns, like you're saying, they have talent on that team, even if Jacoby Brissett's in at quarterback. Great running backs, good offensive line,
Yep.
passable wide receivers, and excellent pieces on defense. It's a team that I think is going to soar over their win total.
And how about the Commanders? Pulling out a fourth quarter comeback. We don't see those very often.
They've
Those
never
don't grow on
lost as the
trees.
Commanders. They clearly chose the right
Commanders
name.
are undefeated.
Yeah, the Commanders are undefeated.
They've never lost as an organization. It's absolutely incredible. It's Christmas in DC. And they never will. Well, I don't know if you saw, but they're actually an underdog to the Lions next week, which is very, very concerning.
Yeah, that's sketch.
They're losing that game. Just me reading the line. They're losing that game.
You're reading the Lion. They're going to lose to the Lions.
Yep. A lot of rhymes today.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rhymes today. But seriously, all jokes aside, that game was incredible. That comeback, Carson Wentz, 2 bad picks. We know they're coming, right?
Yep.
But for him to be able to bounce back and lead us back there in the fourth quarter, hitting our rookie Dotson, who, everything is advertised. The dude was a fucking grinder out there. He made every catch. He made some tough catches. That second touchdown, man, he's got sticky hands.
That was nuts.
And people were saying we reached for this kid in the first rounds. He's already looking like a stud. We're one weekend. Okay, I get it. But that dude's yard prop was at 25.5. Absolutely disrespectful. Cashed that in the first half and had 2 touchdowns for the boys. Coming through, Terry had a tutty. Logan Thomas was playing. He had a couple receptions. Our defense looked good enough when it mattered most. Carson Wentz led that team down the field. And for once, it was nice having a quarterback that's actually a quarterback and has an arm that can lead us, to victory when we're down in the fourth. It was tough with Heineke coming back. The dude couldn't throw across the field. We're going to get a lot of dumb picks. It's going to happen. It happened in week 1 already. We got 2.
Yeah,
we survive in advance.
Yeah, you just need the good throws to be good enough to offset the bad throws.
Yeah, and he had a lot of really good throws.
That he did.
There's only a couple QBs in the league that can make that Terry McLaurin throw and that Dotson back shoulder throw, and it's Carson Wentz. So we take the good with the bad with him. We know what's coming. That was the most Carson Wentz game ever. 4 tutties, 2 picks, barely squeaked out a win against a shitty team, but we'll take it. And we're 1-0 in a division with the Cowboys without a QB.
Yeah, a win is a win.
Let's go. W
straight from the hat.
The Giants pulled out a crazy, comeback win. Shout out Saquon.
Saquon.
And we'll get to that. Holy smokes. He looked good, man.
Yeah, he did.
He looked good.
That
Chiefs.
was vintage.
Yeah, Saquon might be back. Chiefs also. The team that for some reason nobody's talking about this offseason, it's been all Bills. Maybe we're a little bored of this Chiefs team. They absolutely dominated the Cardinals. That narrative of the Cardinals being so good early in the season, I had to fade. Free money.
Yeah, Cardinals
team is toxic. They're toxic, Nick. They're toxic. There's more Call of Duty off the field bullshit going on with that team than anything good we need. Plain and simple. And they got their teeth kicked in.
Honestly, they needed to use a kill streak out there or something.
Yeah, they needed something.
They had nothing going.
They needed a care package, Nick.
Yeah, exactly.
They did not get one. We already kind of touched on the Bucs there. Tom Brady, don't fade him. Divorce or not, that dude is still the GOAT. And got it done in the ugliest, grossest Sunday Night Football game ever. It is what it is. Ravens, they look great. We don't really have to talk about that. My under 5.5 win totals looking good there with the Jets, with Flacco in. For the next couple weeks too. We had a tie. Indy and Houston.
Disgusting game.
I mean, give me a break. We had so much disgust in this card, which I mean, it's week 1. We expect it, but some college football vibes just throughout, to be honest with you. Just some sloppy games, and we get a tie in Houston. Shout out Davis Mills.
Yeah, I like Davis Mills.
Same.
I think Davis Mills is going to be it's going to be a decent quarterback. He's going to be a not ever a top 10 quarterback in the league, but a guy who can, if you have a decent core around him, take a team to 10 wins in the playoffs.
I do not disagree. Now they need a new coach and they need some defense.
It's just the entire rest of the roster.
They need a lot of new stuff, but they look decent. And they pulled out a tie. Respect. All that Colts hype silenced for a little bit. Maybe Matt Ryan is not, the same quarterback he was 5 years ago. Shocker. Steelers, Mike Tomlin. Do not underestimate the GOAT. Do not overestimate Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because they just look like the Bengals that we're used to, not the Bengals from last year. Losing outright to the Steelers at +7 there, that's a tough look.
Yeah,
That's
was
a tough look.
Yeah. So speaking of disgusting games, I mean, I don't think it gets any more disgusting than the sequence that we saw at the end of that game and in overtime. The blocked extra point to send it to OT, then the missed field goal, then the missed field goal with a doink, and then finally somebody actually hit a field goal.
A lot of doinks.
We came this close to having 2 ties yesterday.
Yeah, that would have been disgusting.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what if you parlayed all 4 of those teams to score exactly 20 points?
You would literally be handed the keys to the World Bank. You have all the money in the world.
Yeah, it's Fort Knox. Here's your new home.
Here's your room. Stay as long as you wish. That's what they would say. But again, Mike Tomlin and defense wins you games. Plain and simple. Yeah. This is why Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season ever. Absolutely incredible. And when we all doubt him, when we all doubt their team, a lot of talk, including myself, saying we like that under win total for them this year. Good start for the over.
Yeah, no, I think
crazy lunatics who have that bet out there.
Yeah, no, you're a bit of a masochist, I think, if you were on the under there.
Yeah.
The over.
That's tough.
I mean, how do you bet against Tomlin?
There's some teams you just can't bet against. There's some guys you just can't bet against. Now, any given Sunday, right? You never know. But guys like Mike Tomlin, guys like Tom Brady, they win football games. We know this.
Yep.
The Eagles squeaked out a win. I think we all knew they weren't going to cover. This is the finish that they needed, that Vegas needed. They went out on the ML, but don't cover, right?
Yeah, and that was a classic Lions game too. And I'm curious, we'll maybe talk about this a little bit later. But what do you make of the Lions' performance in that game? Right, it feels like something that the Lions did all the time last year: get behind big, and then backdoor cover. Is this a good team that can actually contend for 60 minutes with a team that? I'm not going to call the Eagles one of the better teams in the league, but a middle of the pack team. And is this just a team that's very good at closing a gap when the game's already out of reach?
Well, I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I understand. Like the Lions, they don't know how to close, but it's not like they had the lead this whole game and blew it. It's like they do know how to close.
They don't know how to start.
They don't know how to start. And they're always playing from behind, which is tough. And you could say, well, anyone can score when you're down 20, right? Which I understand. But is this Lions team a winning team? No, this is the Lions, Nick. This is why I took their under win total. Shout out Hard Knocks for giving us a whole win. with that movement. I mean, literally shout out Hard Knocks. That was incredible. Everyone, they were one of the most bet win total overs the whole season, and it moved the line up, and I struck, and we're looking decent there. But the Lions are that team that could literally beat anybody or lose to anybody any given week. Yeah, but also, let's not act like the Eagles looked incredible, and their defense really did not at all. I mean, their offense, they could score. Let's not kid ourselves here. Jalen Hurts, that dude's an issue. Whether he's passing or running does not matter. That dude's a dog. He had 50 yards in the first quarter on the ground. That dude's a freak. This Eagles team's going to be, they're going to be causing issues. But the Lions, Nick, I think they're still the Lions, man.
Yep.
But they do get a win next week against the Commanders. They do. Hate to say it. Couple more games. Bill Belichick. We're talking about guys who you can't bet against. Well, this is an example of any given Sunday. Bill Belichick got stuffed in a locker by the Dolphins, 20-7. Now, did they look that good? I mean, I couldn't get a read on this game, Nick, if I had, 24 hours to bet it. I had no clue. I stayed as far away as I possibly could. Honestly, kind of like the over. And that didn't play out too well. A 20-7 win for Miami there. Decent.
Yeah.
Were you impressed by Miami at all? Or was this more of the troubles we're hearing in New England? We're hearing some troubles up there with that offense, and they showed.
Catch a whole lot of this game.
Okay.
I had no action on it just because I had no read
Right.
coming into it. So I was more tuned into some of the games. So I'm gonna pass on that.
It was a very Tua-esque game. 1 TD, nothing crazy. They pulled out a win.
Yeah, I did see Mac Jones injured his back in that game and is in need of X-rays.
Wow. Who's their backup currently? Do we know?
That news kind of went under the radar with some of the other quarterback injuries, and with I think the JJ Watt or the TJ Watt injury happening pretty close in real time to the Mac Jones injury.
I think it's Bailey Zapp.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer.
I don't know if
Zappy.
he's. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Hoyer probably because Zappy's hurt as well. Zappy's a guy who I think is going to be decent. Although Zappy might have been just a healthy scratch, to be honest with you. I think he was. He was the electric quarterback in college football from Western Kentucky last year who broke the college football record for passing touchdowns in a season. Was that what it was, Nick?
Something like that.
Or passing yards in a season. The dude was a freak.
Yeah, nuts.
He could fill in and be the next Tom Brady. Who knows with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, right? But that's something we got to monitor. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know the severity of that, but
okay,
we'll see over the course of the week. I mean, they're
-1 on the road against the Steelers, so I'm assuming the books think he's going to be playing at least with that line.
That line definitely says Jones is in. I mean, if it's Hoyer or if it's Zappy, then absolutely not. I know Ben, who's in the chat, says is super high on Zappy.
I'm hip. I've heard him talk, and I've watched that kid play, and the kid is legitimate. He's a freak.
Yeah, he's nuts.
He's got a cannon, and he makes plays.
Last year in college, I just brought his stats up. He threw for 5,967 yards and 62 touchdowns.
Freak. Yeah, that's him and Sam Howell are two of these low-key quarterbacks that were drafted this year that I think could be pretty decent, at least from what we've seen in preseason and what I kind of thought going in. I mean, Zappy's going to be good. And that's a great Patriots draft pick. Shocker, right? So I'm assuming he'll be activated.
Like RG3 Kirk Cousins situation. I mean, I guess it's a year off, but you have your big first-round quarterback. Draft a guy late, and then the guy that you draft late is the one.
Okay, so so here's a tweet from Ben back in 2021. I'm officially starting the Bailey Zappi as the best QB of the 2022 draft class campaign, and I'm really not even joking. The Houston Baptist transfer, who now plays at Western Kentucky, has been impressive. His 6'1.5" height will hurt him, but he can make all the plays. And then he doubles down and goes back to this Ian Rappaport tweet and just little self-tire pump there from Ben. Ready for a hot take. Bailey Zappi is more talented than Mac Jones. Remember this tweet.
Yeah, he was not done. He's not letting people forget. I mean, I like that kid too. He made me some coin in college. And also shout out college football for being absolutely electric again this Saturday, and all the top 10 teams not covering and some of them losing.
Yeah, how about that Sun Belt?
Stop sleeping on the Sun Belts. You know it very well, Nick.
That's your conference now, right? I've always been a big Sun Belt guy.
Fun Belt. I love it. The Fun Belt. JMU, did you guys get a win this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, played Norfolk State, so it doesn't really count, but 63-7, 62-7, I think.
You guys, I mean, you've always had a good program. You know, all jokes aside, that's a team that could beat a lot of, you know, real conference teams.
Yeah, no, they're going to be able to put up points on anybody.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of how can the defense hold up against some better offenses.
Okay. And shout out Marshall for going into Notre Dame, and we have to mention that.
Yeah, and
Notre
shout out
Dame,
App State.
App State, which, you know, App State I don't think is as big of a deal, but that's still a no-name school in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Zach, I don't know if you can find the video of them absolutely partying in the streets like menaces. I mean, that was incredible. people coming from everywhere, jumping up and going crazy in the streets of
Shout
Appalachia.
Shout out Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah,
they have college game day is going to be there this week.
Who are they playing?
I think they play. I don't know. Is it Marshall?
If they're playing Marshall, that's an incredible game.
No, it's they host Troy.
There's the video. Yeah. Appalachian State reminds me a lot of, it's like a smaller Virginia Tech. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's in the mountains. They let the kids kind of, run the city a little bit. And those kids love their football. That's all they got down there pretty much. So, I mean, that team's been legitimate for a year or so. I mean, they were ranked at times last year. Chase Bryce, if you don't know him, you don't really know college football. He's their QB. So,
yeah,
I don't think it's as crazy, but it's still a small school, right?
Yeah, I mean, App State's like the classic small school with a big upset.
We remember Michigan.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's a team that won back-to-back FCS titles.
Yeah.
Before they moved up.
Let's power through these last two. I mean, nothing crazy here, to be honest with you. Vikings pulled out a win. Aaron Rodgers, good luck with those receivers. I mean, we can talk about how great Aaron Rodgers is, but really no help from him.
No, Christian Watson just.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, he still hit his yards prop. It was very low. But he had the drop of the weekend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of drop that it means more than just that play. That's a drop that kind of sums up what everyone's been saying for the last month about that team. And you could kind of see it in Aaron Rodgers' eyes in that post-game presser. Like we're already beat as it is with our roster and not having any weapons. And now what everyone's been saying, all the haters have been saying, it's literally coming true. No bueno. I think he's probably thinking maybe he's hitting up his monk saying we got to run another session and really get locked in. He's gonna have to get extra locked in to do anything this season. I mean, he's in trouble.
Packers. That was
7 points against that defense. 7 points against that defense. That's tough.
Not good looks.
And then the Chargers coming through and covering. That was one of the weirdest games on the card, in my opinion. I had zero read in that one. Couldn't tell if the Raiders were fake sharp or not. I think they kind of were. But I didn't want to lay the Chargers because everyone's talking about how they're the team to win the Super Bowl besides the Bills. It's like them and the Bills are getting talked about the most, in my opinion. So good to see them come through. I think that team is absolutely electric. Shout out my fantasy football tight end, Gerald Everett. And the Chargers got it done against a Raiders team that's just not that good.
Yeah,
Their offense is great.
Yeah, we'll see with the Raiders. I mean, offense definitely looked good. Carr made a couple too many mistakes.
Yeah,
but if he cleans up a little bit, that's a game that they can.
3 picks.
Yeah, 3 picks.
3 picks.
Doesn't get the job done. Not against the Chargers.
Yeah, that defense is so underrated too. I mean, they held that offense to 19 points. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I feel nobody are very well talking about the fact that they brought in Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's one of the most underrated signings in football.
Yeah, absolutely.
That team is going to be an issue. Justin Herbert, I still have nightmares about us not drafting him. Love you, Chase Young. I still believe in you. But we could have had Herbs. That would have helped. That would have helped a little bit. Zach, let's move on to tweets that trigger us. We got a couple here that we need to go into.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
I've never seen you.
I get paid. Why are you in such a bad mood?
What do you care?
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
So we've got the New York Football Giants. This tweet was something. Saquon. We talked about it already, Nick. Incredible comeback. Some people were saying he's kind of back in workouts, right, and training in preseason, and he carried that team to an upset. I mean, is this more of the Titans looked kind of bad thing, or was this more of you being impressed with what you saw out of the Giants with their new coach and when everyone's doubting them coming back? What are you kind of thinking about this?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think I'm not high on the Titans. Going to talk a little bit more about them later on. Don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of this Titans team. Their pass rush was pretty decent. I don't know how much of that was just Daniel Jones being Daniel Jones, but they sacked him 5-6 times, I want to say. Aside from that, though, not being able to put up points consistently against this Giants defense, that's worrisome for the Titans offense, I think. Derrick Henry was okay. Tannehill was okay, but if you're okay, can't beat the Giants, putting up how many points did they have? 19 or whatever against the Giants.
20 points.
20 points against the Giants. That doesn't cut it.
Not gonna cut it, bro.
Yeah, and with Saquon, he looked great. A good running back doesn't turn a team into an elite team.
Yeah. You need an elite team first to have your elite running back matter one bit, because all that's going to do is kill clock and secure you that W. You're not going to go out and win games with just, I mean, I guess the greatest example of that would be Derrick Henry. And he kind of did that for the Titans. But how far did he take that team? I think they've already peaked, in my opinion.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah. So I think this tweet's ridiculous. Saquon was incredible. Calling him Tiki Barber. I mean, yeah, he should be looking like Tiki Barber out there. Saquon was at once talked about as the best running back in the league. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, every game. He's supposed to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was for a game, carried them. Let's see him do it again. This tweet was a little early, a couple months early, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to do this every game for a season and put together a good season. Give me a break. But hey, they're tied with us up at the top of that division. The NFC least is looking okay. Besides the Cowboys, there, who would have thought? The worst person on earth, he's back. Just when you thought we could get away with maybe not hearing about this guy again, Jackson Mahomes apparently had a helmet on and pads and was playing for the Chiefs this weekend and helped them secure that win. Hey, maybe I missed it, Nick. Maybe he went in there in the fourth quarter when they were up 20. But I didn't see Jackson Mahomes go in there and play.
Honestly,
did you see him skip out there and dance out in the field?
I think if Jackson Mahomes was on the field, he was probably masquerading as an Arizona Cardinal.
Yeah.
They played like they had Jackson Mahomes at quarterback.
This Cardinals team is a joke. This Cardinals team is almost more like a Kardashians fucking season than it is an actual NFL season with all the drama. And they have Hard Knocks coming halfway through the year too, which I think is not what they need at all. Good fucking luck. But I thought this tweet was ridiculous. Yeah, Jackson Mahomes, you whooped some ass today, man, playing out there. I hope you didn't dance around on any, memorials or Sean Taylor, crazy memorials during the game, because don't get it.
Here's what it is. Here's my new interpretation of this tweet. There's like a new TikTok dance trend called the ass whoop.
No, there's not.
Come on. No way.
I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna pretend that's what he was doing.
I mean,
that's the only logical explanation.
The dude find way I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I wouldn't know because I don't follow the guy on TikTok because his videos make me extremely angry. I don't even have a TikTok account. His videos make me angry. And this tweet made me angry. So I wanted to share it and make you guys angry as well. Maybe fire you up on a Monday. Get you going. Get some hate in your bellies. That guy's the worst. I mean, the videos of him pouring water on fans last year. I mean, when he was up in the box, give me a break. I'm surprised he's allowed to even come to the games. If I was Pat Mahomes, I'd be like, dude, you got to chill out a little bit here, man. You got to chill. Because Pat Mahomes and his family, they can do whatever the fuck they want. He's the $500 million man. But even the fact that some people are starting to call for the kid not being allowed to come to the games, with how much sway and leeway Pat Mahomes has with that organization, if he was a brother of any other player, I think he'd probably be kicked out and not be allowed in. Ridiculous. Happy to see him get out there and get to play with his brother. I guess I must have missed that highlight. Let's carry on to the last tweet that triggered me. Dameon Pierce, the hype train, finally quiet. 11 carries, 33 yards after we acted like this guy's the next Christian McCaffrey. And he rose so high in these fantasy football rankings that I was legitimately confused. I thought I was missing something. This is still a running back on a losing team with not a very good O-line. And he ran like that yesterday. So
Yeah,
I'm happy we finally get to not hear any more Dameon Pierce hype.
yeah, I mean, Rex Burkhead got more carries than him.
Yeah. I mean, Rex Burkhead, a veteran, as he should. They're trying to get a win. We saw what happened when James Cook got a carry, the rookie. I don't think he'll be getting any more carries anytime soon. I could probably drop him for my fantasy team.
Well, he did come in late in the game.
He did. He came back in.
Another couple touches, I think. But nothing crazy. Nothing in important time.
He's in the doghouse. Let's transition to bearish or bullish. We've got some good topics here to talk about NFL-wise that we want to give our takes on. So let's go ahead and transition.
I shall return to... Oh, hello, Balloon. We have a very important thing to do today.
All right. Let's start off with an easy one. Tom Brady and the Bucs. Nick, you bearish or bullish on what you saw out of that team, or was it more of just a Cowboys fate? What do you like?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Bucs. I think I mean people are concerned about Tom Brady. People are concerned about Tom Brady every year, right? Tom Brady, like 5 years ago, Tom Brady's 40. There's no way he can keep doing it. Tom Brady's 41. There's no way he can keep doing it. I know he's 45 now. There's some additional concerns about what he was doing in the offseason, but at the end of the day, it's Tom Brady. He made like one bad throw where he just didn't see a guy and it got picked off. But aside from that, he did what he needed to do to keep them in that game. They only scored one touchdown, potentially worrying. But again, I don't think we can discount the Cowboys' defense. We can discount their offense a lot, I think, after that performance yesterday. But the Bucs got in scoring position 6 times, scored a touchdown, made 4 field goals, missed another field goal against
field goals this weekend.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. So I'm high on the Bucs. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I'm bullish. I mean, I faded them last night. I ate my words. It is what it is. I regretted it halfway through the first quarter. I knew shit was caked. Tom Brady was still Tom Brady, found ways to drive down the field. Honestly, I was most impressed with Leonard Fournette. We talked about the whole offseason, how their O-line is toast, right? And how that's going to be tough for Leonard Fournette. Well, he had a hell of a game. And I think he was the main component in them winning that game. I feel like he was getting 7 yards per carry the entire time. Very impressed from what I saw behind a banged up O-line. Leonard Fournette still has that juice. He's rejuvenated his entire career. He's back. So shout out him. I think Tampa Bay, I mean, I'm still bullish. Do they repeat, run it back? No, probably not. They probably don't win another one. But in the NFC, which is a little weaker, that team can still make some noise. They could.
Yeah. I have just a random thought about Leonard Fournette. So for some reason, Leonard Fournette to me always feels old, like he's been in the league forever. He was drafted the year after Zeke was.
Okay.
Really?
And
I feel like he does feel like he's been around
there's
for
part of me that
years.
knows that, but it's just an absolute mindfuck.
He's only 27.
Yeah, and Saquon Barkley was drafted 1 year after him.
That's wild.
Yeah, it like just
shit.
a little perspective on Fournette and the potential wheels that he still got.
That is insane. Yeah, I was more concerned with their O-line because they were all hurt, but he had 127 yards on 21 carries, so he was doing just fine.
Yeah, he was. There is the concern though for the Bucs. I know their left tackle left the game with an injury. I don't know how severe of an injury that's going to be.
Yeah, well, Tom will hit off somebody and get him on the team. I mean, Julio Jones.
He
looked great too.
Probably went and talked to Jason Peters on the sideline at the end of the game yesterday and said, "Hey, come play for us instead. We've actually got a quarterback."
Jason Peters hurt again. I'm sure Tom can get an O-lineman to come back out of retirements Maybe he'll get one of his old Patriots O-linemen, wake him up from the grave or some shit like that. That's some shit he would do. He'll call his whole old O-line to come back, and they'll be elite again. They'll be like the Hogs 2.0.
Yeah.
Shout out Julio Jones, shout out Leonard Fournette, and shout out that Bucks D. Plain and simple. They all look great. Carson Wentz. All jokes aside, this is a good topic here. I mean, the most Carson Wentz game of all time, 4 tutties, 2 picks, almost lost us the game, kind of won us the game. Nick, are you bearish or bullish? Not even on the Commanders, but on Carson Wentz after his debut?
I'll say I'm cautiously bullish on Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz obviously has been hurt the last couple of years. People forget just how good Carson Wentz was with the Eagles that year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. He got hurt after what, 13 games that season? He was going to win NFL MVP that year.
Yep.
He was miles ahead of everybody else. He got hurt, didn't play enough games. He got passed in that race. Nick Foles obviously did Nick Foles things. Carson Wentz, it took him a while to get healthy. That's why I'm cautiously bullish on Wentz. I need to see more from him just to know that he's healthy. But I think if Carson Wentz is healthy, if Carson Wentz is confident out there, Carson Wentz has the upside to be a bottom half of the top 10 quarterback in the league. We know what the downside looks like, but we also know what the upside looks like if he's healthy and if he's confident. So cautiously bullish on Wentz.
Yeah, I'm bullish. I can drop the cautious. First time I've seen a QB, non-biased opinion. First time I've seen a QB in DC since Kirk Cousins, damn near 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever the fuck he was on our team. This is the first time I've actually felt not out of a game completely when I'm losing in the fourth quarter, because I always know that there's a chance that we can actually move the rock. Shout out Gibson and shout out our defense for making plays when we needed it. But this is a Carson Wentz combo. In his first Commanders debut, when the guy didn't have a touchdown pass all preseason, he didn't look great. The guy's been getting chirped so much, maybe more than anyone else in the league. I give him a thumbs up in that debut. His QBR was pretty good. He looked poised. You know, our O-line is average. He did exactly what he needed to do. Sure, did he have some overthrows and a couple picks? Was one of the picks an absolutely incredible play by the first overall pick in the draft, though? Yeah, it was. And I don't know if anyone else is making that play. Maybe Watt. But that was absolutely insane. So one of the picks was really bad. One of them was just an absolutely insane play. And he showed serious heart coming back after those 2 picks and finding his rookie in the end zone for a comeback win. When everyone on earth was on the Jags ML, that was like the trendy dog of the week. Well, he put those rumors to rest, and we covered with ease. Shout out the Commanders. Shout out Carson Wentz. Great start, in my opinion, when I think everyone kind of in the back of their minds expected him to fold somehow, some way. I was impressed. Let's go, Carson. Let's carry on. Let's get it done. Yeah. What else do we have? Let's see. We've got Saquon, which we kind of already talked about. But the dude was absolutely cracked. 164 yards, a touchdown on 18 carries. And he had another 30 yards on 6 catches. Their new coach, DeBoll, was absolutely bowling with the team.
Like a bowling
having
ball.
A time. He does kind of look like a bowling ball. He looks like he does not belong there, but I mean, the coaching videos of these guys just letting loose and having fun.
I love
it. And just being weird, cringy old dudes are hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It's like the opposite of what Brian Kelly tries to do in these recruiting videos, where he tries to be funny and look like he's, relating to these young guys. Not at all. Brian DeBoll right there. You could tell that he fucking loves that team and those guys. And they were all absolutely partying, geeking, having a good time, laughing at the coach. That's exactly what the doctor ordered after a big win there. Mm-hmm. Keep the mojo going. That's not what I want to see as a team in their division. They look like they're clicking a little bit. They're having a good time. I know it doesn't matter. It's one win. Who cares? But Saquon looked like old Saquon. If he could stay healthy, he can win them some games. Plain and simple. That defense looked okay. The Bull having a great time, earning his first win. He deserves it.
Yeah.
And that's coming
how
from
about,
a Commanders
how
fan.
about that call to go for 2 at the end of the game? Showing confidence in your guys. I love it too.
I love it. Hey, you're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be winning that game. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, you know what? We're here. If this game even goes to OT, we're probably not going to win. Might as well take a shot here while we can. I fucking love it.
I love the call.
I love the call for teams that are dogs. Teams that are not, supposed to win the game, worse teams. I think you go for it every time. Why not? You have a chance to win the game. You're 2 yards away. Take the chance. Take the shot. We got updated NFC East odds. Eagles still a favorite. The Commies. People forget the Commies were plus 750 on some bucks before the season. That line movement was not great. And then, are you kidding me? The Giants are ahead of the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Daniel Jones. He's a better quarterback than Cooper Rush.
Yeah, he is. That's a good point. And
they've got to win already.
I think the Cowboys finish higher than the Giants this season, but and you could probably make some money betting that right now. But who knows how long Dak's going to be out, and they look terrible even with him. So this is looking like another hilarious Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy Cowboys team that I'm not scared of at all. Last night was hysterical. It was Jason Garrett on my TV, segueing me into a Mike McCarthy game, me sitting back, enjoying the Cowboys look like shit. That might have been, even though I lost money, I don't really even care. That was like a win-win. Either I hit my bets or the Cowboys look like shit and a joke, and that's what happens. I'm cool with it. That was a win for me. What a joke. This Cowboys team. No wonder why that line was moving. No wonder why the Eagles are favored to win that division.
Oh, also, do you know what else was kind of ironic about the Cowboys? You see, they were throwing trash at Dak as he was leaving the field.
Dudes.
No way.
They're the worst.
Immediately, like in his last game, he's like endorsed throwing trash at the referees.
They are the worst.
And then they instantly just throw trash at Dak. That's karma right there. That's the Cowboys, right? That's just the synopsis of where this team is at right now.
Remember the Yankees fans were throwing trash all over the field, and Aaron Judge and Giancarlo had to run out and tell them to stop. Oh my God, they were throwing trash at him. Are you kidding me, dude? The dude's fucking hand exploded.
Yeah.
And that's your QB of the future.
That's not his fault at all, right? He's trying to make a throw. His hand smacks into a forearm.
Dude, if I was a Cowboys fan, at least they're not as delusional as the Yankees fans who actually say and think they're going to win a World Series every year. At least the Cowboys fans keep to themselves, and they know they're an absolute joke right now. Like I don't hear any trash from my friends who are Cowboys fans. They're just quiet. They keep to themselves. They just kind of mind their business now.
As they
should. What a joke. After week 1, they have the 4th best odds to win the division. The Giants have better chance, according to Vegas. That's incredible. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to say I'm bearish on the Giants still. I think it's an overreaction. With Saquon, if he plays like this for a month and looks healthy, I will change my opinion. But it's been one game, and the dude has glass bones. Yeah. I'm not worried about the Giants one bit in our division yet. Let's talk about the Vikings. Nick, are you high on this team? Are you bearish or bullish on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins and this Kevin O'Connell-led offense that Justin Jefferson looked like a freak, especially in the first half? What are you thinking, man? You bearish or bullish?
I think I'm a little bearish on the Vikings.
Wow. Okay.
I hope curious. The Vikings perform well. I have Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team, single-handedly keeping me in this week's game. I have Cam Akers starting, so that's how that's going. I don't know how much stock you can put into this win. They looked good, don't get me wrong, but the Packers also just looked bad for reasons completely unrelated to anything that the Vikings were doing. I don't think that I saw anything. I don't think that the Vikings made so many changes in the offseason. Obviously the new coach, but But is this a team that's fundamentally different from the 8, 9, maybe 10 win Vikings teams that they've been the entire time Kirk Cousins has been there? I think I need to see them perform a little bit better against a team that is better than this Packers team for me to fully buy into this Vikings team being in the upper echelon of the league, as opposed to being in that 8, 9, 10 win conversation again.
I think that's fair. I don't know if we can really tell if this Vikings defense is going to be competitive or not, or if this was just a Packers issue offensively. And I think we'll know more after next week. I'm with you, but the Vikings did just give up 7 points to Aaron Rodgers. And any way you want to look at it or talk about how it may not have all been his fault, you can say whatever, but I think on the surface, that's very impressive without even diving in. And that's kind of this team's weakness is their defense, right? We know they're going to score. And I'm a huge Kevin O'Connell believer. Again, coming from that Commanders coaching tree where everything turns to gold except for us. He's a part of it. So I'm very high on him and Kirk this season. I think Kirk is going to be up there for leading the league in passing yards. And I think Justin Jefferson, like I said on here last week, is probably going to lead the NFL in receiving yards this year. And he's off to a great start.
Yeah, you had that
dude's a freak.
Plus 800 for Jefferson last week.
Plus 800.
You can't be upset at all after 1 week.
Plus 800. He put up plenty of yards in week one.
I think 186.
Just stay healthy. Stay healthy, my man, because he's got to be a problem. I'm with you. I think I'm bullish on this Vikings team. I was so high on them all offseason, and then I kind of heard everyone else pretty high on them, and I got kind of worried, and then I started to think maybe the Packers were the play.
Don't let the noise get to your head.
I know. Well, I'm back. I'm back on the Vikings hype train. I do have them. I put my money where my mouth is. I took them to make the playoffs. I think at minus 120. Let me look. Vikings make the playoffs minus 130. Ew, juice. It is what it is. Great start, though. Great start for the Vikings.
Yep.
Joe Burrow. I kind of thought I was crazy being the only one talking about how I don't think the Bengals are going to be great this year and how I'm not high on Joe Burrow. And I feel like I was talking to a wall saying how these, teams in his division, their coaches are geniuses defensively, and they're going to figure out schemes and ways to slow him down. They've had all offseason to do it. People looked at me like I had 7 heads. And now we're here talking about Joe Burrow. We're bearish or bullish on him after he threw a bunch of picks and really did not look great, especially early in that game. Nick, are you concerned? Are you bearish or bullish on this kid?
I think I'm a little bit bearish on Burrow right now. There's no excuse for turning the ball over 5 times. Well, I think 4 picks and a lost fumble from Burrow.
Yeah, that's an issue.
I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're playing against. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And I don't know what adjustments he's going to make moving forward to try and mitigate those problems. But if it hampers any of his effectiveness moving the ball down the field to those receivers, that could be a problem for another reason, right? If that's the trade-off that has to get made, could be a problem for the Bengals. Also, didn't T. Higgins leave that game?
Yeah, I don't remember him coming back either.
Yeah, do we know what his injury status is? I guess it's maybe a little bit too early in the week to know for sure.
Guys, did you see this tweet from PointsBet here? I think it just came across. PointsBet Sportsbook tweeted out, early payout. The Dallas Cowboys are still not dem boys, so we will be settling all Cowboys win total unders as wins today.
Should have got in on that yesterday.
Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
Are you kidding me?
That's awesome. That makes me so happy. Look at that stupid face. Hey, Jerry, here's some advice. And hey, you're the billionaire. You can do whatever the hell you want with your money, my man. And don't listen to anybody else. You do what you want to do with your money. I would try to run my team and burn them into the ground if I had that much money. Plain and simple.
As a Commanders fan, you should be very happy with the way he's running this team.
Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm never scared of a team that Jerry runs. I've never been scared of a team that's Jason Garrett ran. And somehow Mike McCarthy found a way to fill his void completely. And he's in the same boat. I'm never scared facing that team. Never scared facing the Giants, never scared facing the Eagles. It's the Commanders this year, guys. It's our turn. Watch out. You've been warned. Just wait till Cam Curl comes back. That team's going to be an issue. Jonathan Allen. He's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
He's so underrated. I mean,
Jonathan, you know where Jonathan Allen went to high school?
He's a Nova guy. He's a Nova kid.
Went to Stonebridge.
Yep. Some kids, some of my buddies from school played against him and said he was an absolute freak in high school too.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
That dude's awesome. God, there's a reason he's on the NFL top 100 list. He's our only guy on there. There's a reason. What else we got? Kickers. I swear to God, I've never seen more kicks missed this weekend in college and NFL.
Yeah.
Both. What's going on with these kickers?
Yeah. So
should kicking even be a thing? Honestly, that's another question. Are you one of those guys who's like anti-kicker? It shouldn't even be a part of football.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm a Ravens fan. I have Justin Tucker on my team. It's pretty easy to be pro kicker, but yeah, it looked like early this week in the NFL at least that every kick was going in, right? For the first quarter of the games. It was like 50-yarder after 50-yarder after 50-yarder, and then the wheels just completely fell off.
Dude, so many missed kicks, man.
Yeah.
So many missed kicks.
I've
never seen this many. I tried to find the stats. I didn't feel like going through every single game and counting them up, but
it was a lot.
It had to be a record. Which is something we see a lot in college football, but not in NFL. I mean, those guys are pretty good at what they do. Hey, if a team needs a kicker, give my guy Brian Johnson a call from BT, friend of the program on Behind the Lines. He's looking for a job. He makes kicks. He's got 2 game winners. Give him a call. Any NFL GMs who are listening to this, give my man a call. I'm sure there's a lot of them. But that's gonna wrap it up there for bearish or bullish.
I got two for you guys here before we move on.
Sure.
So the first one I want to go with Jameis Winston. I'm bullish on Jameis Winston. He gets Michael Thomas back there in New Orleans. They've got a little bit of a better defensive setup there. They got Tyrann Mathieu comes into the game plan. Jameis Winston, we know he's got all those meme videos of him working out in the offseason and stuff. It is, regardless of what you think about it, it is hilarious to see all that stuff, like his trainer swinging pool noodles at his head and stuff. But, I mean, yesterday he throws for 269 yards. He gets 2 passing touchdowns. I mean, he was sacked 4 times, but he still went 23 for 34 and had a QBR of 111. I mean, like, for Jameis Winston, have that clutch drive at the end as well to win the game. I'm bullish on Jameis Winston this year. I don't think he's going to be incredible, but I think, like, he could be a guy to take steps forward and actually make an impact with that Saints team.
Yeah, Zach, share the video that I just texted. Jameis Winston's one of the weirdest guys ever. But yeah, I'm all in on Michael Thomas and him being back if he can stay healthy and wants to play. He proved me wrong. I was making so many Michael Thomas jokes before the season, and he had 2 tutties and shut me up real quick. So if he's going to be healthy and then actually want to be out there and play, we know that defense is going to be legit. You know, they don't have Coach Payton anymore, but they have a guy who's been working there with Payton for damn near 10 years, and I think the Saints are going to be just fine. I'm bullish on them as well. I agree.
Yep, I agree as well.
Yeah, I was impressed. You want to show the video?
Yeah.
I need to work my ankles, and you got certain things that we're all like. Our body is so symmetrical, right? You got your wrists, and then what are your wrists on the bottom half? Your ankles, you got your shoulders up top. What are your shoulders? Your
Bro,
hips,
his mannerisms
your elbows,
are hysterical.
What are your elbows? Your knees, right? Like so.
He's so funny.
It's symmetrical, and
then he just absolutely locks back in and
my ankles.
Starts talking serious again. How do you even throw that into your speech? And I know Nick, you and I couldn't hear it, but they could all hear it. I don't know if you've seen that video or not, Nick, but he's talking about how everything is symmetrical. Is wrists,
I think
what are his wrists on his body, his fucking ankles, and what are your hips, your knees, whatever. He was being a freak.
And hanging out with Aaron Rodgers.
Every 6 months. Every 6 months, we get a weird Jameis Winston comment.
Yeah. Well, he had that video.
What did he do yesterday?
After the game with Michael Thomas, and he's like, I don't even know what the question was. The clip was basically he's just like, Payne, pain. We felt pain. We got to push through. And then he just starts smiling. Michael Thomas is just standing there like staring at him
what is going on? Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah.
I guess you got to be a little weird to be good in this league. Kirk Cousins, we know he's had a couple weird videos too, but Jameis Winston takes a cake. His warm-up routine, comments like this he drops all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, just a weirdo. He couldn't even see before he got LASIK. Did he just not know? Did he just think that's how life was? Like everything was blurry as shit. He had to be like, holy fuck, this QB thing was really tough before. I couldn't even see anyone. And he gets LASIK and now he's just way better. I mean, come on, dude. Like
imagine how many guys are out there that are just one LASIK surgery away.
Coming from someone who's like legally blind, like I've had contacts my whole fucking life, guys, go get your eyes checked. Maybe you just have never known what the world actually looks like. Go in and get a fucking eye exam.
Yeah.
Not just NFL players, just people in life, because that concerns me. He didn't even know that he had terrible vision. Like, what the fuck? He's like 30.
You ever go to go see an eye doctor?
Unbelievable. Just see a doctor.
Check. How does no team that he's been on ever realize that?
Bro, the same thing happened with Wilson Ramos, the old Nats catcher back in the day, Nick. I'm sure you remember.
Yeah.
The dude got LASIK. Turns out he couldn't fucking see his whole career, and then hit like 320 the next year and was an all-star. It blows my mind. These guys are professional athletes. They're at the top of their game. They're rich, but they're still people too. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they have normal people moments, brain farts, if you will. Sometimes you just don't know that you can't see shit, I guess. That's
normal people moment. Oops, I can't see anything.
Try to give them the benefit of the doubt. That might be a little bit below a normal human moment there. What else you got, Zach?
The last one I have here, it's just on the guy's stock in general, in terms of like where he's kind of headed and the demand and stuff. Jimmy G.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm bullish on Jimmy G. I mean, we're looking at the 49ers. We talked about it, Nick. We talked about it on the Friday show a little bit in terms of his passing ability. You brought it up here today. That was one of the reasons we went with his rushing prop, which, by the way, cashed. But he was going to have to rely on his legs because he wasn't going to be as confident back there. And does he have the ability to actually throw his way out of trouble? It's not really known if he's going to be even able to do that, let alone the confidence that he's going to have in stepping into this role. And then the 49ers, obviously, we're looking at that, as was probably everybody else watching that game, realizing this guy's not having a good game here. He's not having a good outing. And is this going to carry on through the season? The 49ers are probably having doubts, looking at Jimmy G sitting there going, why isn't that guy in there instead? And then the other reason being, the Dallas Cowboys just lost their quarterback yet again for likely 6 to 8 weeks. And we know Jerry Jones is an impatient guy. He's a guy who wants to win, regardless of if he's actually capable of putting together a team that can. He wants to. He wants to spend the money. He wants to draft the flashy things. And looking over at Jimmy G sitting on the sidelines in San Fran, and his quarterback is out yet again for an extended period of time, I wonder if a team like the Dallas Cowboys will be making a call to the San Francisco 49ers about Jimmy G.
I think you can pretty much lock in that they're going to make a call. We know Jerry's not afraid of spending some money and making a crazy move midseason to save it. And I think they probably should make a call. I hope they don't. I'm a Jimmy G supporter. I think he should be starting in San Francisco this whole time. I thought the comments yesterday were weird, and I'm very happy you brought this up, Zach. They were talking about with Shanahan about the whole QB thing before all the games started on Fox. They interviewed him. They actually interviewed Trey Lance too, who was just talking about how weird the whole QB dynamic thing was as well, which I thought that was not good. But hearing Shanahan answer the questions of them ask him, why are you making this? Why are you making the switch? Why are you making the move? You guys almost went to the fucking Super Bowl last year, and Jimmy G's been to a Super Bowl, and I feel like whenever he starts, you guys win games. They were asking all the right questions, and his answer was, well, when we drafted Trey Lance 2 years ago, the plan was to start him this year, and we still feel like that's the best plan for our team. And then he made another comment saying how it was close. It was damn close after the year Jimmy G put up last year. I think it should have been more than close. I think you give the benefit of the doubt to your veteran who's taking your team to the fucking conference final. I don't understand how they made that switch. I think they kind of thought they were in too deep, and Shanahan might be a little bit of an ego guy and might not want to admit that he's wrong. about drafting Trey Lance that early. We saw the Packers do a similar thing with drafting a QB when they still had Aaron Rodgers, although it's a little different. It's Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy G. But at least the Packers are smart enough to say, hey, maybe this other kid we took was a little bit of a reach, and maybe we should just sit down, buckle up, say we were wrong, and just pay our guy. And I kind of thought that the 49ers should have done something like that, although it's completely different. They wouldn't have to pay him really much. It's Jimmy G compared to Rodgers, but I still expected him to be the starter of this team when he's done nothing but take this team to, at lengths in the playoffs and win games. And Trey Lance, not off to a great start, although he's got every excuse in the book.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, so I agree. I think the Cowboys should make the call. They should call up, who is it? John Lynch, GM in San Francisco. Is it still him?
The problem is the 49ers might need to keep him for themselves.
Yeah, I was going to say they should make the call. The 49ers shouldn't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I think that Jimmy G is too valuable to this 49ers team right now, especially on the contract that he's on. Is it, I see Pick Six in the chat saying redid the deal, make it more tradable. Yeah, it's more tradable. Jimmy G is still a valuable asset on this Niners team. There's absolutely no shot that the Niners coaching staff and the Niners front office had seen what they've seen from Trey Lance. And will say, we feel comfortable with this guy going out and starting 17 games and taking us to the playoffs and helping us and allowing us to compete in the playoffs.
There's no way.
Yeah. Maybe in a couple weeks, they'll be able to say that if Lance goes and balls out the next couple weeks. But I'm not confident. I have no confidence in that happening. So I think Jimmy G is going to stay in San Francisco regardless of the fact that there's opportunity available on other teams. We heard it earlier in the offseason, like, oh, he's definitely going to get traded to Cleveland. No, he's a valuable piece on this team. And now everyone's, he's definitely going to get traded to. You're not the only one saying that. He's definitely going to get traded to Dallas now. It just makes too much sense. Like, no, he's a valuable piece of this Niners roster because they're probably going to need him at some point down the stretch.
Shanahan is too much of a prick to play Jimmy G ever again. Straight up. I don't think he's willing to put his ego aside and make the move until it's too late, in my opinion. Maybe Jimmy G does go into the second half of the season, but I think that Trey Lance has a little bit too long of a leash. And I think they should have just stuck with Jimmy G. And if Jimmy G played like shit this year, sure, then put in the young arm. But the whole thing has just been so weird.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It's a mess. And man, I'd love to have Shanahan be my head coach of my team. I think the dude's fucking brilliant. Let's get that straight. First of all, we've had so many coaches like that leave our team, which sucks. So many. But the guy, I don't think he's going to be willing to eat his words. And also, there could be more behind the scenes that we don't know. But it's 2022, and I feel like we hear almost every leak at this point. But yeah, teams will be calling, but I don't think they should answer, Nick. I'm right there with you, bro. They're going to need him.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need him. Should we go into hot takes? Let's make the move here.
Man's not hot.
If the Houston Texans pass on Johnny Manziel, they will forever regret it.
I want Iguodala.
This is a story that I just don't buy. Durant to the Warriors.
There's no way we trade our most valuable asset mid-season with new ownership coming in. People are saying, I'm seeing graphics of him in a Padres uniform. I'm like, give me a freaking break. He's not going to the freaking Padres.
All right. We've each got a pretty good take here. I'll kick it off, Nick, with mine. And there's some value on this one. Talked about it briefly last week. Locked it in this week. The White Sox. I'm switching to baseball. I know, guys. NFL started, whatever, yada, yada, yada. There's still baseball going on, and I'm still betting it. Yeah, boo, hiss, whatever. I'm still going to bet baseball and give you guys angles that are profitable. And I think this is one. The White Sox. I think they're going to win this division. I have been so, what's the word? I could not be less impressed with the Twins and the Guardians and the leads that they've had of this division, and just finding ways to not make the playoffs at this point. And I think the White Sox are really hitting their stride at the best time. You can get them at plus 400. I was checking out betstamp. FanDuel has them at plus 400. Zach, I don't know if you want to pull this up, but we should lock this in and make sure that it's still 400 for the people. But they're 2.5 games back at Cleveland. I'm not scared of Cleveland. They've got a top 5 easiest schedule remaining in the MLB this year, including playing the Tigers and Rockies here 8 times coming up. They have a huge series starting tomorrow against the Rockies. Got to sweep, plain and simple. They're home. They're not playing in Denver. No fluke shit. And they also play the Padres 3 times, and I'm not scared of them one bit. The Twins 6 times. They got to win those games. And the Guardians and Twins play each other 5 times, which is huge. They can beat up on each other while the White Sox make some moves here. So, yeah, I'm seeing we still get plus 400, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Guardians have a tough series against the suddenly hot Angels that starts today in a game where I think they could lose. So give me the White Sox at plus 400 to win this division. I think they get it done. I think there's plenty of time. They're finally starting to play like the team we all expected in the beginning of the season. This White Sox team finally starting to win. Maybe it's because their geezer of a coach is stepping down for now. We don't need to go into that. I hope he's okay and everything, but terrible coach. Not a coincidence that they're starting to win now that he's gone for now. Give me the White Sox at plus 400, where I think this is more of a coin flip. I really do.
I really like this value.
Yeah. Plus 400?
Yeah. And I've been saying the same thing. I don't know if it was with you or if it was with Javon, but had this discussion on the CapWize stream a couple of weeks ago. And looking for a plus money team to win a division. It was the White Sox and the Twins for me. Just whichever team gets healthy, and the White Sox look like they're healthy. Twins look bad.
White Sox arms are starting to lock in. Giolito's pitching pretty well. Lance is back. We know Mr. Mustache is one of the best arms in baseball. So they're right there. Looks like they're 2.5 back. God, the Twins have absolutely folded like a lawn chair. That's insane. Absolutely insane. The Guardians don't scare me, man. Hopefully the Twins can steal a couple in that series against the Guards. And I think the White Sox are right there. 2.5 games doesn't scare me. I love it.
I think this is a good look at plus 400.
Chat, what are we thinking here? Do you guys think this is like a medium take? I'd probably say this is like a medium take. I don't know what you think, Nick. I don't think it's mild. I mean, it's not it's not like you're minus 120.
Yeah, it's plus 400. It's not a mild take.
Right.
You're not. Yeah, I think like a medium hot. Like if you're ordering, you're calling up the Thai place.
Sure.
How hot do you want this out of 10? We're looking at like 6.5, 7 here.
Sure. Good example. Good analogy. Yes. You're not getting Thai spicy.
No, we're not getting Thai spicy. I love me some Thai spicy though.
Yeah, I love it when I'm eating it, just not later. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
Got to go through war for some fucking fried rice.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
It's worth it though. Sometimes, every now and
then.
That's a discussion for another time.
Sometimes. I think this is medium. I think that's a good spot right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Give me the White Sox. They're clicking on all cylinders. Dylan Cease, take us home. They need TA back. They don't even have Tim Anderson right now. They need him back ASAP, and I think that pushes them right over the edge. Give me the White Sox. What do you got, Nick?
Yeah, so I have a take. There's a I don't think you can like necessarily bet on this directly. Just something to watch out for. But I think we're going to see a team this year in the NFL make the playoffs without a winning record. And specifically, I think that team is going to be whatever team ends up winning the AFC South.
Wow.
We saw week 1. I was not impressed with any of these teams. I think the most impressive team in that division might have been the Texans. And we all know the Texans aren't winning this division. The Colts.
Fair.
The Colts played 3 really bad quarters against the Texans, came back in the 4th, couldn't get it done in OT. I know Ben, who is usually in this seat on this show, would not be saying anything like this. He's about as big of a Colts stan as it gets.
I'm so out on the Colts.
But yeah, Matt Ryan didn't look good. I I don't think the Colts are going to go out and beat a ton of teams out of this division. Titans, same deal. Derrick Henry's good. Ryan Tannehill is okay.
Yep.
Defense got gashed by Saquon. Daniel Jones got sacked, threw a couple picks, but aside from that, was efficient. And if Daniel Jones can be efficient, what are better quarterbacks going to do? Texans are the Texans, and the Jaguars are the Jaguars. I think we could see, unless one of these teams ends up going like 5 wins in the division, we're going to see a team 8-1 or worse take the crown here. I think the last time we saw a 500 or below team in the playoffs was actually just 2 years ago, and that was your Commanders.
Sure.
7-9.
Don't be shocked to see them run that back. Can I say I like what I saw the Bull try to do with Daniel Jones and run him a little bit, 6 carries.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get that closer to 10. And I think you run him more and more read options. And it's also just going to open up the field for his passing because Lord knows he needs it.
Yeah, I'm
run the shit out of him.
Yeah. Do you know the story with me and Daniel Jones?
No, I do not.
So I think Zach
knows
this.
Going?
Oh, so I didn't have one coming into this year, but each of the last 2 years, I've had a quarterback pick that I think is going to break out in a big way. Wow. 2 years ago, it was Josh Allen. He broke out in the big way, ended up finishing second in the MVP voting that year. Last year, it was Daniel Jones, which did not go as well, shall we say. But yeah, I think a healthy, confident Daniel Jones, who's not afraid to put his head down and run the football, is a guy who still can be middle of the pack QB.
Yep.
In the NFL. Ooh. Yeah, he can be Ryan Tannehill.
I agree. I think they need to run him more.
Yeah. So I still secretly root for Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Still that's cautiously fair. Optimistic. I'm bullish on Daniel Jones.
Well, I'm going to tell this story then. My buddy, so my roommate, huge Commanders fan. Obviously, all my friends are huge football fans. Mm-hmm. I've talked about this before. Half my friends from school are from Jersey or New York. They're Giants fans up there. So it's like Jersey heads versus, DMV heads. So it's DC sports versus New York sports. It's awesome. It gets out of hand at times. My buddies made a bet here for $500 in college, which at the time was a significant wager after some beers were consumed. Who would be a better quarterback, Daniel Jones or Dwayne Haskins? And my buddy actually just texted in our group chat and said, "Hey, Matt, how about you go ahead and Venmo me?" Because I think that's probably locked up at this point.
Yeah, maybe that should void.
I don't know if he gets a void for Dwayne passing away. I don't think he does. I think he owes him the money. But crazy bet. At times when I thought Haskins was going to take it easily. I mean, RIP, man. Gosh. But Daniel Jones, I mean, my roommate owes my buddy $500. Plain and simple. Daniel Jones could play terrible forever and he'd still be better.
Yeah.
Still playing, Wild. That's maybe the sharpest moment my Giants friend has ever had because he's the worst bettor of all time. He just takes every over. That one was free. So maybe he made some bankroll back there.
Yeah.
Easiest $500 ever.
Only took how many years? Actually.
Yeah, way sooner than we expected, right? We expected these guys to be going at it in our division for years. That's the hype we got from both guys at the time. It's crazy how much everything changes so quick.
Yep.
NFL. You're not performing. They'll find someone else who will. They'll get him out of there. Daniel Jones on a contract year, man. They should use him like Josh Allen. Run him.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Because he cannot rely on the pass. I think we can both agree on that. God, maybe we should sprinkle on the Giants to win the division. What do you think?
Maybe. I'm not there yet. I'd rather just go week to week with them.
Okay.
I was on Daniel Jones rushing yards yesterday. That's a prop that I'm going to continue to be looking at.
That cash? He only had 25. That cash?
Yeah, his number was below 20.
Okay, word. Because I was looking
which was a joke.
I have it pulled up right now. That is a joke.
And I think he was a little unlucky to only have 26.
They need to run him more.
Yeah, so depending on what the matchup is next week, I haven't looked at the run D.
They play the Panthers.
Yeah, I haven't looked at how the Panthers perform against rushing quarterbacks.
Minus 2.5 at home against the Panthers. Wow, these lines for next week or something. And they're out. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and move over to trap line real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get into Krabs versus model. But let's go ahead and move it.
It's a trap.
Oh, yeah. All right. Right there. The fisherman.
All right. So, Zach, I feel like I'm picking on you and your squad here. This was the pick last week. Yeah. I'm going against your damn Blue Jays again. I ate my words last week. You guys came through and won, but I think this line, minus 150 for Toronto today. I know we're talking baseball, guys. Suck it up. We're almost done. Minus 150, Berrios at home, who's been good at home. And Toronto, we know they like playing at home. They're minus 150 against Cooper Criswell, who most people don't even know who the hell that is because he's made one career start and he gave up 3 runs in 1 inning last year. The guy has not pitched this year. So I don't know why they're only plus 130 here against a better team at home, against a way better pitcher. But you've been warned. Toronto is the trap line of the day today. Was thinking about going with Denver, but we're going to dive into that game here in a second. Toronto, do not bet them today. If anything, bet the Rays. I'm hearing that this Cooper kid, Cooper Criswell, who's pitching for Tampa, he's looked pretty damn good in the minors. Let's see what he's got. I think that line is incredibly short. Zach, I don't know what you think is going to happen here if you've been following baseball this weekend. I think the Rays pull out an upset on the road today. What do you think?
I haven't really. The only thing that I saw, which honestly even turned it off more because I was like more excited for football being on and just not wanting to deal with the Jays. And then on Saturday night, I believe it was, they were playing and against the Rangers. And Gausman goes in there and just was getting lit up. Like the Jays got out to a huge lead. I think it was 11-3 or 11-4 at one point. And then next thing you know, it's like 11-5, 11-6, 11-7. I'm like, come on, we're not going to be that team, are we? I think we held on to win, but it's like, that's our guy, Gausman, in there, just getting lit up. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, I'm just going to watch some football, enjoy that, not really have too much invested in it. And if the Jays make it, they make it, but I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, they did win that game. The Jays are still being the Jays. They're being freaks. I think they lose today. They're only minus 150 against a dude who's made one career start and he sucked. That's sketchy as shit. You've been warned.
Yeah. So I have a quick note on Criswell.
Please.
So just have a quick scouting report. He's not ranked in the Rays farm system this year. He was number 33 in the system last year. The quick little scouting report. Criswell is this is from Fangraphs. Criswell is a tall drink of water with a funky, lowish slot delivery. He doesn't throw all that hard, but his slot helps impart lateral movement on all of his stuff, and it's tough on righties. Changeup has enough movement to give him a lefty fighting weapon, though he's probably a gimmick reliever or spot starter when it's all said and done. The one thing, though, that I thought was a little interesting from that is movement consistently tough on righties. The Jays are an extremely righty-heavy lineup.
Yeah. That's a W.
So
I think their only lefty they really play is Cave and Biggio. Right?
Yeah, Biggio and Tapia.
Yeah, and they're not very good. Interesting. Maybe he does have some success today.
Yeah, okay. We'll see. I don't think he gets more than 4 innings either way, but
yeah, he's not. I think he's gonna go 3 probably. That's what Javon was saying. Our Rays expert. But yeah, you guys have been warned. The trap line of the day, which have been very successful besides last week. Stay off of Toronto. They're a trappy trap today. All right. I don't know if the Rays are winning or not, but we'll be betting Toronto minus 150. All right. Let's pivot to Krabs versus Model. We'll keep this short and sweet, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But we've got a game to talk about tonight.
Mr. Krabs, it's late. Go to bed.
All right. We've got Monday Night Football for the first time all year. And we've got a gross one. It is what it is. I love the Seahawks tonight. I've been eyeing them for weeks. Disgusting. I know. Don't care. The Broncos are supposed to win this game by 20 on paper. I'm sure the model says something similar. We're only getting 6.5 here. And it actually touched 7 earlier this morning, and now it's moving the other way. I want the Seahawks. I think they keep this within a touchdown. I think Russell Wilson is in for a treat, something he's never experienced before ever, and that's coming to Seattle and having everyone root against you. And it's going to be loud in there. It's going to be loud. It's going to be weird. And if anyone can be mentally affected by something like that, it's Russell Wilson, the guy who can't even listen to Future in the locker room. I think he is mentally inferior to the Geno Smith on the other side, who might not have the physical skills, but this guy knows the offense and played decent enough at times last year towards the end. I think he goes out there, he hands the ball off to Rashad Penny, and Seattle gives them issues. And let me leave you guys with this. Monday Night Football home dogs. They're 13-7-1 ATS in the last 21, and they're 5-1 in the last 6. So go ahead and take them. Yes, put that graphic up there. We need to see that. The Pete Carroll crazy-looking face. You know what happened in this game, by the way, that they're talking about here. Bears versus Vikings. Do you remember what happened?
20-10. I looked it up.
Bears won outright by 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and back Seattle here when nobody wants to. It is what it is. I don't have a goddamn choice.
Yeah, I do have a goddamn choice, and I'm gonna use that choice and place my bet on the Broncos in this game. Sorry, Krabs, but that's what I got to do.
Okay, that's fine.
So the model does like the Broncos. I have the Broncos by more like 9. So I think getting this at 6.5 is really important here. With this was at 7.5. I'm off. I'm not on this game at all.
Okay.
Getting a win for a 7-point Broncos win, I like this a lot. To me, it really seems like the Ravens game. Same number.
Ooh.
We got the Broncos on the road here, but we had the Ravens on the road in that last game against a team that really doesn't have a lot of talent on the roster. I think talent-wise, the Seahawks team is actually the worst team in the entire league.
They're terrible.
So I've got to be on the Broncos here. I'm Geno Smith, maybe. But yeah, no. Give me the Broncos.
With the direction, even with the way the line has moved since it opened at 4, which by the way, this line opening up at 4 is mind blowing. It still doesn't make sense to me how this opened up at 4. And it's gotten steamed, obviously, because everyone's betting Denver. Shocker. But Nick, sorry, God, Nick, this line should be 10. Seattle's terrible. The Broncos are back. They're Super Bowl bound. They got Russ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 6.5 here means it's 9.5 on a neutral field.
Yeah, and I think home field advantage is worth more in this outing. I'll be honest with you. That place is about to be rocking.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't think Seahawks fans are going to have a whole lot to cheer for this year.
I agree, but they have something to cheer for tonight, and that's against their old quarterback.
Smith.
That's against their old QB who left.
Yeah, nothing gets the boys ready to cheer like Geno Smith.
What happened in that Juan Soto series when he came home? The Nats gave the Padres some serious trouble. They have the entire season since that trade because it's the Nats Super Bowl when they play against them. And betting-wise and just record-wise, had great success. And I know this is a different sport, but it's the same story, Nick.
Yeah.
Revenge. This is Seattle's Super Bowl tonight, and they keep it within a tutty.
The Revengers.
Yeah.
The Revengers.
Krabs, did you hear about that?
No.
We were gonna make a the Revengers parlay with Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco,
Baker Mayfield,
Devontae Parker, and Baker Mayfield. And never got around to actually finding good bets on those guys, but just kind of Photoshop their faces onto the actual Avengers and
the Revengers.
Yeah, the Revengers, and the Revengers are 0-3 so far.
Well, are they going to go over? Probably not. Is that 0-3 ATS or outright?
Patriots lost outright, lost ATS. Panthers lost outright, lost ATS. Jets lost outright, lost ATS.
All right, so maybe they don't go 0-4, but seen a lot of Russell Wilson boosts, seen a lot of Broncos boosts. We know the sports books want a Seattle win tonight. Hey, maybe they're giving the people a freebie after a brutal weekend for Squares.
Yeah, it has been a brutal weekend for Squares.
Maybe they're giving the people a freebie tonight. I've thought about that too.
One of the things I'll say here is Model's actually been on a ton of underdogs.
Okay.
This week. But
that's concerning.
This is
10 points.
This is the spot. Yeah.
Okay.
Where it likes the big favorite.
My model says differently, and we'll see who comes out on top, Nick. We will see.
It'll be a good game either way. Can we get a score prediction?
Score prediction. Yes. Let's go 27-23 Broncos. 27-23 Broncos.
Yeah, I'll keep the 27. I like that number. 27 for the Broncos, and give me a I guess 18's kind of ugly. Give me 17. We'll go 27-17.
All right. 27-17. Well, somebody's winning tonight. We'll see. I've got plenty of units safe and sound after this weekend. Thank goodness. They return home. Shout out the Commanders. They've had an extra unit or two depending on them. They got it done. Nick, I appreciate you coming on here and filling in for our guy, Ben. And if you guys aren't hip, Nick and Ben are running their own show, Charge It to the Game, later in the week. So make sure you check that out. Give my guy Nick a follow on Twitter if you're not already. Super excited for this week. Already just taking a peek at these lines coming up. They're juicy. Sharps absolutely grubbed. A lot of sketchy spots.
Did you see where the Bengals Cowboys opened up at? I don't know what that line's at right now. It opened up Cowboys -1 last night. And then it was just gone.
Yeah, no, I had people texting me to take it last night. I was already out. I mean, now the Bengals are -7, brother.
Yeah. We had somebody in our Discord threw many units on the Bengals at that +1 number.
Yep. Okay, well, that guy has a great bet locked in. We know what happens when spreads move. You know, 5-6
Cooper
points.
Rush MVP performance.
It's coming. It's on the way. My guy Scrunch wins in chats. There's no way you had a better betting day yesterday than me. There's no chance. It's mathematically impossible. Tell my plays going forward. All right.
Yeah, no, Scrunch is the man. I think he's just giving you some shit.
Guys, real quick before we go here, before Krabs ends this one off, if you want to follow what Krabs is betting on or what the Charge It to the Game account is betting on, make sure to go to the betstamp app. All our plays are tracked on there. You can put referral code CHARGEIT. And then the other thing I'm going to say is head over to thehammer.bet. You can see all of our previous episodes of Charge It to the Game. The Friday show where you'll actually see all the picks that we're giving out. By the way, right now, 6-3, one remaining pick out of the 10 that we had, Noah Fant over 24.5 receiving yards for tonight's game. So we'll see how that one goes, but a 31% ROI for this weekend from the Friday show. So you can check that out as well. You can see all the other creators we have. We have a ton of things coming out today ahead of the game, including a live stream with Joey Knish and Brad Powers at 4 p.m. today. Luke's Locks, he went 1-0 to start the season so far. He's got a pick coming up this afternoon. And then we will have a primetime lead-in as well as a halftime show for the Monday Night Football game, all on thehammer.bet. So make sure you go over there to check that out.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the Hammer, you're about a week late. Some great stuff going on over here, guys. Nick, I appreciate you filling in, my man. You're a beast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Respectfully, I hope your bet loses by 100 tonight. But besides that,
that would be a great week. That would be impressive.
That would be Geno Smith, 100-0.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Okay. Sure. Zach, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming. Let's start out the week with a winner tonight. Why not us? Why not us? Very profitable weekend for the squad. Let's carry that momentum over. Let's have a week. Happy Monday, guys. I appreciate it. Take us home, Zach.